and welcome to Scene by Dawn. Today I'm going to be reviewing the movie All the Money in the World with Christopher Plummer, Michelle Williams, and Mark Wahlberg. So this movie is based on the true story of the 1973 kidnapping of Paul Getty III, who is the grandson of the great tycoon of Getty Oil. He was in Rome and just hanging out and having a good time because his dad was rich. And he got kidnapped by a Italian gang because they, of course, wanted money. He was held for a long time. I think it was 4 months. It was a long time. They cut his ear off and sent it as proof, and that's really when people started believing that something really was going on with him, because he had joked around before about faking his own kidnapping in order to get money from his grandfather, because his grandfather is notorious for holding on to his money and not being generous, and he even installed like a payphone in his house so that guests would have to pay for their own outgoing calls. He's just like notoriously frugal or miserly. Is that a word? I think that's a word. I think it's a word. I'm gonna say it's a word. Of course, this movie was riddled with some controversy because the Kevin Spacey scandal broke. Sir Ridley Scott, the director, reshot a bunch of things, replacing Kevin Spacey with Christopher Plummer in the role of Paul Getty II. Yeah, he was Paul Getty II. Yeah, because his dad was Paul Getty I, and he's Paul Getty II. Then his son was, I don't know, Greg, and then there's Paul Getty III, who was kidnapped. Do you know what? To be quite honest, I don't really like this film. I didn't. The pace was really slow, and I didn't feel like it was a Ridley Scott film. I'm used to Ridley Scott being able to build characters that I care about and tricking me into caring about them so that the tension is built more because I feel more anxious because I actually care about them. In this one, I honestly just I don't know, I kind of just wanted them to release him or something. I don't know, it was just dragging on and on. I looked at my phone a few times, which is really unusual, especially in a Ridley Scott film. I don't know if maybe it was because of the reshoots or whatever. I felt like Michelle Williams' performance was not consistent. There were times where she felt more natural in the role, and there were other times where it just felt really forced, and I don't know what she was doing with her mouth, but it was just really irritating. But it wasn't always with the times when she was with Christopher Plummer, so I don't know if it was actually due to reshoots, because it was with times when she was with Mark Wahlberg, and that wasn't reshoot. So I don't know what happened there, but I just felt like her performance was really inconsistent. I also didn't like that in the film they didn't put really any time markers. I would have liked it a lot better if they had said, oh, 2 weeks later, 1 month later, oh, after 4 months or whatever, so that I understood how long this was going for, because it was like, well, has this been 2 weeks? Has this been 1 month? There just wasn't really any clear indicator, even within the storyline, about how much time had passed. I thought that Christopher Plummer did an excellent job portraying the miserly grandfather who is very rich and also completely isolated because of his wealth, and that he just didn't trust people around him, even his own family, and that the collection of things became his comfort because things didn't betray him and things didn't expect anything of him. I think that Christopher Plummer was my favorite part of the film. Interesting to note is that poor Paul Getty III, his actual life is really tragic. He was kidnapped at the age of 17, held for 4 months, and then when he was just in his early 20s, he was wrestling with drugs and alcohol, and then ended up taking a horrible cocktail of, I don't know, a number of things, which shut his liver down, and then he ended up a quadriplegic. Even though there was all the money in the world, his grandfather wouldn't save him, and then he ultimately had this really sad life. I just didn't like the pacing of this film. I really don't think that the writing did justice to the actual story. I give this film a 5 out of 10. I didn't really like it that much. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like money. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that little bell so you don't miss out on anything that I've seen. Scene by Dawn.
have the money to spare.
No one has ever been richer than you are at this moment. What would it take for you to feel secure?
More.
I'm gonna find your son.